Fraternities and sororities, found on college campuses across the nation. They have been known across generations as places of brotherhood and sisterhood, among other things. But what do these establishments really stand for? Growing a family, furthering education, or other, more social and fun things? Why has Greek life become such a defining part of the college experience? Does Greek life benefit the college and its members, or is it just another excuse to party?
How did these places come to be how they are now? It turns out there's an interesting history behind their establishment in the United States. Let's go back to the 18th century. In 1776, at the College of William and Mary in Virginia, the first Greek letter society, Phi Beta Kappa, was established. Although it wasn't a fraternity as we know now, it was the first society of its kind, in this case, a literary society, that helped to establish the precedent of using Greek letters and mottos. It wasn't until 1825 that a Greek letter fraternity resembled how they are structured now. The Kappa Alpha Society, founded at Union College in New York, was the first student-run sort of these groups. The first sorority was the Alpha Delta Pi Society, originally called the Adelphin Society when it was founded at the Wesleyan Female College in Georgia in 1851. In 1831, the Sigma Phi Society was the first to open another branch of its society at another campus, effectively making it the first, quote, national fraternity. Over the 200 years of their establishment, more chapters and societies were established across the country, with an enduring tradition growing.
Across the nation, over 800 campuses now contain fraternities and sororities, much of which are no longer secret how they were in the past. Penn State, for example, has one of the largest in the country, with 89 active fraternities and sororities with an array of the various types of Greek life, including social, professional, and honor societies. 4,500 students at Penn State are current members of fraternities and sororities, and making up about 10% of the total enrollment at the university. Overall, media exposure has allowed a picture of Greek life to be disseminated to the American people. Among the opportunities presented, the media commonly presents personal and interpersonal development, as well as leadership cultivation as benefits of joining fraternities. However, the media has also highlighted the widely popularized problems of alcohol use, hazing, among other cultural issues within Greek society.
Issues with fraternities have dated back to the 19th century. Going back to the Kappa Alpha Society at Union College soon after its establishment, there was an incident involving the threat of Freemason William Morgan to divulge the society's secrets. Subsequently, he disappeared, not to be found again. As a result, anti-secret societal sentiment appeared. His suspected murder prompted action from university officials in New York State to push the elimination of the evils of secret societies, fraternities included. However, the issues with alcohol have been the most prominent, and not just within recent times. In 1851, then president of the Phi Delta Theta fraternity and future president of the United States, Benjamin Harrison, expelled members of his fraternity after they had embarrassed themselves drunkenly at a reception for a respected Revolutionary War veteran.
Here, at Penn State, there have been a number of recent controversies and incidents involving fraternities and sororities. In 2009, two fraternities were connected with the death of Joseph Data. Data was found dead in the stairwell of a university dorm, having suffered from head trauma. The police charged these fraternities with furnishing alcohol, a violent offense. In the same way, in recent times, police are investigating a fall that occurred at a fraternity house, Sigma Alpha Mu, at Penn State. On December 1st of this year, 2012, a woman took a fall while intoxicated. The police are currently trying to determine the nature of the fall. Unfortunately, alcohol is not the only problem associated with Greek life. Going Greek means dedicating countless hours to activities outside the classroom. For example, social events are a regular weekly occurrence at most fraternities and sororities. On occasion, Greek members participate in activities called week-longs, which essentially means going out every night for a week straight. To certain students, this may be a gift, but to a determined hard worker, This is quite tedious to fit into a busy schedule. Rushing, pledging, initiation. These 3 steps in the path to being Greek cause a lot of stress to both the body and mind.
Sororities that I would talk to, and I would say that I wanted to be a doctor, or I was in Schreier, because they would ask me where I lived and they didn't understand what Atherton dorm was. And I remember one girl, she asked what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to be a doctor, and then every question I answered from then on, she was like, it was just kind of like, I don't want to be in a group of friends that doesn't like me for who I am. The 3rd day, they cut you as you cut them, and we got our schedules back, and it was kind of like, in 15 minutes, how did like 11 sororities decide that they didn't like me? And I was just kind of like, they all seemed so nice and so genuine, and then like they acted like they really liked all of us, and then we got cut off after 15 minutes of talking.
A secret ritual, known as hazing, is what really causes college students much discomfort. Stories include being forced to drink unto the point of unconsciousness, being forced to recite the history of the establishment with fear of being punished, and also being forced to do other degrading activities. So why do college students want to be associated with such chaos?
Fraternities range, and some fraternities are all about the hazing. They have a different perception of brotherhood than I think our fraternity does, or many other fraternities do. And you have to keep in mind that a lot of the fraternities, a lot of the stupid things that fraternities do that you see on TV, that's so incredibly skewed, because most fraternities, and I know, because I've been to several fraternities, I know a lot of fraternity brothers, they're not like the guys that you perceive on TV.
House parties, mixers, hazing, drinking. What seems to be buried under the negatives are the positive facts about going Greek, and there are many. Regarding the positives, some statistics point to improved academics. According to USA Today, college graduation rates are 20% higher among Greeks than non-Greeks. There is also a legacy of leadership associated with Greek life. 85% of Fortune 500 company executives were part of Greek life. The first female astronaut and the first female senator were members of a sorority. In even higher standing, all but 3 presidents have been members of a fraternity since the year 1825. 63% of the president's cabinet members since 1900 have been Greek. On a more local note, our own former star football coach Joe Paterno was part of the fraternity Delta Kappa Epsilon DKE. Such important leaders cause us to question how Greek life promotes such leadership opportunities. Here at Penn State, the variety of Greek organizations have varied missions. Organizations such as the Interfraternity Council and the Pan-Hellenic Council provide Greek members with the opportunity to lead their peers and give back to the community. For example, in its constitution and bylaws, the IFC references its promotion of intellectual, philanthropic, fraternal, and social values among fraternities and sororities at Penn State. These values include upholding strong academic achievement, service and philanthropy, leadership, brotherhood and sisterhood, and social and alumni involvement. We interviewed the vice president of the IFC for some feedback on his experience.
I'm Dan Combs. I'm a brother of Phi Kappa Psi. I'm also the administrative vice president of IFC, the Interfraternity Council. My personal experience with Greek life has been awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's built a greater tie to this university, and I've had a lot of experiences with leadership that I've had both within the house and also in governing Greek life as a whole that I couldn't get in any other organization at Penn State.
One of the key parts of Greek life is philanthropy. Sororities such as Omega Phi Alpha are greatly responsible for service projects such as mental health, service to nations of the world, and their current 2-year project Community Inclusion. Here at Penn State, the IFC and the Pan-Hellenic Council are involved in Thon, the largest student-run philanthropy in the world. Thon emotionally and financially supports those affected by pediatric cancer. Being involved in Thon is a great leadership opportunity and a great way to give back to those less fortunate.
People don't keep in mind they don't keep in mind all the good things that fraternities do, and that includes all the philanthropical events. Thon is predominantly a Greek life event. Fraternities, sororities get together. We do a majority of the fundraising for Thon, and nobody knows about that. Nobody really cares. Just because we have one party, something happens to someone, they get injured, and fraternities screwed up. Fraternities are a bad thing because that one thing. So we do 10 good things, we do one bad thing, and that one bad thing overshadows everything.
So we come back to the dilemma. Does Greek life benefit the individual and the college atmosphere in general? Well, certainly there are some positive aspects to establishing the multiple connections, not to mention the positive statistics about graduation, despite the negative press. But Greek life opens another question to ask. That is, what is the purpose of college? Is it about the experiences one has, or the education, or a mix of both? What it comes down to is that every person has their own perspective on what they believe is beneficial or detrimental. Therefore, only a specific individual themselves can judge whether Greek life is suitable. So, as the scene of Greek life evolves, the fate of its future seems to rest in the hands of those who seek it.